So I'm starting a little bit late today because my husband's home for the day, but he'll be working the night shift. So since I still have to deal with my dog, of course. Yeah, I could go upstairs and close the door, but since I don't have a chair up there, and right now I don't feel like dragging a chair up there from some other place in the house, I kicked my husband upstairs, so I'm doing it down here. So anyways, I want to give a kudos to Audrey because she took on my challenge because it really isn't a difficult challenge. People have built up such fear around looking natural, looking unfiltered. They build up so much fear of making public mistakes that, okay, then you stifle your potential innovation. And so yesterday was an amazing evolution I underwent because for some reason, this is just, and I'm going to tell you how this creative process works. You feel the pain, go through all that stuff, right? And you deal with it, you survive it. Then you have new information in your head, not so much new information, but your thoughts are organizing. They're being cemented. And just like a flash of light, like the thought yesterday about the world is full of kings and queens which I kind of subverted by mistake, but I said, crash your party and kill your dreams. But really, the actual lyrics from the Black Sabbath music from Heaven and Hell is, the world is full of kings and queens who blind your eyes and kill your dreams or something like that. And I didn't know that actual sentence came from Black Sabbath. I'm not an Ozzy Osbourne fan. I'm not a Black Sabbath fan. I don't listen to hard rock or rock that much. I listen to more contemporary. So that specific lyric that stood out, I may have read that somewhere on Facebook. I may have seen that somewhere, but it's not even the name of the song. It's an actual lyric within a song called Heaven and Hell. And that's kind of weird because remember, organized religion is about characterizing heaven and hell in a specific way, that you are afraid of hell, afraid of feeling the pain, afraid of the energy of hell, and that it is better to worship heaven. Well, what happens when you're in heaven? You're dead. Hell is when you're alive. Hell is when you have made so many mistakes in the world that you live in, and you have to now pay for those mistakes by feeling the energetic pain. Okay? And sometimes those mistakes could be the fact that you were never exposed to an entity and then your body has to upgrade. But the hell of upgrading won't be as intense once you deal with the hell that you try to avoid with antibiotics and other distractions. And so that's why people's hells are so long and strong and chronic, because they kept trying to avoid the hell when it came to them when they were in a childhood or when they were exposed to some other entity, whether it's a bacterial infection or a virus. And so when you keep avoiding the hell of life, then heaven, which is death, is then inevitable. And so you saw the hell that I've been going through the last couple weeks, whether it's COVID or me being frustrated with the JJ crowd because they're not speaking. They're allowing the dead people to speak for them. And, oh, hold on a second. Let me just, when I go, all right. Okay. And so you saw the hell that I went through when I had to say something. You guys, stop being so silent. What is it that's stopping you from speaking? I don't want to hear written stuff before I hear you speak because, again, there are very well-developed writers who will regurgitate. And I don't want well-developed writers with no voice, okay? I want to hear somebody's voice. And that's why I really couldn't tell you what you're going to get out of the JJ world, because that's an innovation that's developed from you developing your own voice, you going through the hell and the pain and the journey, because it's easy to regurgitate somebody else. It's easy to go and repackage the same thing. Biotech does it all the time. oh, instead of Cipro, here, take some turmeric and honey or NyQuil or whatever else. And so antibodies get repackaged. Politics, religion, and science gets repackaged daily. And so the word or the terms politics, religion, and science is an overarching industry and category that holds so many different belief systems that get repackaged all the time, every generation. And that's why you see humans repeat history all the time, because they're just repackaging the same thing and selling it as something different. No different than selling Cipro, which is a pharmaceutical antibiotic, to then going to the natural remedies market and selling turmeric and honey and dandelion root as another antibiotic remedy. Okay? And so that's why you must deal with the pain, the suffering, and being angry. And this is where you have to learn boundaries. Because let me tell you, my suffering and my pain, whatever, I would go on other people's Facebooks that I didn't agree with, and I'll say stuff. And I'm like, oh shit, I just crossed a boundary. I just exploded on somebody else, tried to convert them to my world. And that's a no-no. That's a no-no. That is in organized religion. That's politics, religion, and scientific dogmas, where it's about converting other people. Some will be easily converted, others will resist it, and others will develop innovation from that attempt to convert, and then not just look at that one attempt of one specific dogma that wants to convert you. Then you see the similarities in all of the dogmas, and then you start developing your own thought process. And so within the last couple of days, realizing that heaven really is rest and peace, which is why I changed my profile pic from that dove to then loving earth, respecting earth. And I realized that heaven is rest and peace. So much peace that that people will then, when they feel the hell, they'll be taking their antibiotics, they'll be taking all the remedies, taking out organs, until they end up in heaven, rest and peace, because they kept mischaracterizing the hell that they are in. And then they also, when I went on my business page, an evangelist came on there when I said I would rather reign in heaven, or rather reign in hell, than be a servant in heaven. She came unglued, and you could feel the suffering. It was the anger. Now, it's one thing to be suffering on your own page. Hey, that's great. Suffer on your own page, spout off, vent, whatever. That's great. I don't usually watch everybody else out there. There's people I specifically follow sometimes. But when you go and try to convert me into your religion, politics, or scientific dogmas from your world into my world, and then you're really boisterous about it with exclamation points and just in major disagreement, that is a suffering. That is also someone trying to convert, but that is a suffering. And so how did I respond to her emphatically disagreeing with the fact that John Milton, who wrote that quote, how did I respond to her thinking that he was wrong? I said, I'm sorry that you're suffering. I feel you're suffering. And I hope you find peace. Now, if you understand where I'm coming from, it can be double-edged. I hope you find your peace. Like, oh, I hope you can relax and chill out. Or maybe rest in peace is where you're actually heading. I hope you find your peace. See, it can be double-edged. That's what I'm saying. Peace is double-edged. It can be something that is okay and calming, like in between evolution. Like right now, I'm in peace right now, in between different evolutions. And then also, peace can be rest in peace. Now, I don't wish death upon anyone, absolutely not. But if they're suffering that much, they're going to zap themselves anyways. Too much hell is too much energy. It will destroy you. Not enough hell is rest in peace. That's flatlining. There's got to be a balance and a combination. And you have to let the hell work to your benefit. That's where the innovation comes from. You saw the innovation came out of my hell, right? You saw how I identified who the first physician was, Imhotep, that we're taking cues from antiquity, from dead people. We worship dead people. We worship dead doctors. We worship dead scientists. We worship dead biologists. And that's how we characterize or take advice from as far as prolonging our life by people who've been dead for centuries. Then you start seeing how backwards our world is. And then so when you have come from and you figure out your suffering and you face your suffering, I don't know what kind of innovation is going to come out of that, but I can't wait to see it. But you know that you can survive the suffering. You know that innovation comes out of suffering. So you've seen it. You've watched me on Facebook. It's not like I came out of nowhere and now I'm just this guru god that just appeared, which we have seen like in Socrates and Plato. Who taught Socrates and Plato? They don't tell you who taught Socrates and Plato. But then who taught Imhotep? Because Imhotep didn't know everything about chemistry and architecture and physician type of stuff. He was taught by somebody, but we don't know who taught Imhotep. But we know somebody did, because you don't just one day have all this knowledge about angles and formulas and using antibiotics. Okay? And so that's the thing, is that the innovation comes from the suffering. So finally you will see through all the smoke and mirrors of politics, religion, and science. And then when you're so angry from the pain because you suffered so much because of the antibiotics that your parents gave you and the hospital system and everyone around you who has advocated you going to get over-the-counter drugs, you will be so angry at the medical system. You'll be so angry at your parents. You'll be so angry at those that are in the medical holistic system. But you know you can't cross boundaries and go and attack them on their page, but you can vent and voice and have a voice on your page. And you're not worried about image or any kind of trying to look poised and well put together. No, because let me tell you, evolution is messy. Evolution is messy, but it's authentic. And then who knows what kind of ideas that will come out of that. And that's what I'm looking for, because I don't know what kind of gifts you guys have in your body. I have no idea. I don't know what kind of gifts you have in your brain. But let me tell you, there is gifts in your brain that's buried under the years and years of toxic positivity, toxic antibiotics, toxic lifestyles and belief systems. And it is like treasure hunting. But you have to go through the messiness of suffering. And that is hard to sell to those who are all about rest and peace, who are all about their dogmatic religions and politics and scientific intolerances. And so then I realized that yes, politics, religion, and science is organized religion. And there is intolerance with that, and it's selling antibodies. Because it's all about converting and selling antibodies. It is like a war that does develop innovation and destroys the weak who can't handle or know how to characterize the suffering or how to use it to their benefit. They use it to wield upon others and destroy others. And so, all right, so let me just see what I wrote here. And it's about developing your own voice, because you know we have great writers. We have great writers who stole other people's voices, who have also regurgitated, repackaged, and resold the same thing. And so we have great singers who have used other people's lyrics. And so now it's time to have your own personal voice with your own personal ideas, and you are evolving the platforms that were given to you. You're not regurgitating and repackaging, but you are evolving them. Just like I evolved those lyrics from Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell. And from the world is full of kings and queens who blind your eyes and steal your dreams. That's what the actual lyrics are. I turn it into society made up of crowns selling dreams, crashing your party, and destroying your spleen. And your spleen is the foundation of your immune system. That's what was crazy when I realized the spleen, because a lot of people had the splenectomies. People get their appendix taken out, they get their tonsils out, and so they're in deficit immunologically. And that's how the system controls people. It's through all the surgeries, the NyQuil, the prescription drugs, all the dogmas and the politics, religion, and science, and they've muzzled people into producing a regurgitated, very well cultivated image to sell their products, to be a corporate monkey. And now I'm saying you don't have to be a corporate monkey. You can act as natural and as angry as you want on Facebook, because that is your evolutionary process. That is freedom when you're not worried about image. I hope Pip understood where I was coming from. I'm not trying to insult her and call her a corporate monkey. But let me tell you, there's two sides to this world. There is that well put together image that you have to put for your coworkers, and then there's the evolutionary side of you. How do you juggle both sides? If you are jailed into the corporate world, you will have a hard time evolving yourself intellectually, physically, and cognitively, whatever. And you will be very jailed by your job. And some people will choose that. That's fine. But I don't want them writing for me because they don't have their own voice. I want to hear them and see them in their raw form. That some days they look awful, some days they look beautiful. I don't want someone with makeup on and looking like they're trying to sell J Juice or sell that J Juice was the savior of them. No, no, no. Looking natural, looking bloated one day, looking okay the other day. That authenticity will go further than all the fake filtered stuff and people worrying about their body language. I don't care about my body language. You've seen me from the beginning all the way to up to this point. And do you see me care about my body language or how I want to come across? No, I say everything the way it is. And then I have to go and figure out why I acted this way and explain to you guys where I'm coming from. I don't always know why I act the way I act, but you'll always get an honest answer of why I came from that direction. Because, I mean, if you choose to interact with me, then you don't know what you're going to get, but be prepared for the innovation behind it, if you can see it. I gotta blow my nose. All right. So I'm making this short because my husband, I kicked him upstairs and I can't lock him upstairs. My dog might have to go out and poop. So I want to do this video for you guys to say thank you. Thank you, Odd. Thank you, all of you, for taking this on some level and dealing with the evolution of me because, you know, I don't want to make this easy for you. I don't want to make you too comfortable. The power is being uncomfortable. The power is in the pain. The power is in the suffering. And then you will get rewards of peace. And then you will appreciate the peacefulness of now the new ideas, a new evolution. And then you will welcome the suffering when it does happen. Sometimes it will. I don't know. If I get monkeypox or some other variant, I will deal with the suffering. And I will welcome it, blow my nose. And I will then have who knows what other innovation that comes from that. Okay? So this is where I want you guys to welcome the suffering. Look forward to a new variant. Look forward to the pain. Because that will catapult you to the next level. But you have to look at pain and look at unfiltered versions of yourself in a whole different way. All right, bye.